It's been forever since I've seen you. It's Power Coach Alishia here for your weekly-ish Power Up with Power Coach Alishia, and I'm your source of fun, funny, exciting, entertaining, and educational life coaching, transformational speaking, and soul healing with a twist of tough mama bear, no fluff, no hand-holding, no bullshit love. I specialize in helping you get out of your own way, put yourself first without feeling guilty, yourself again. And today we're talking about slowing down in a busy life, on a busy day, when things just feel really, really crazy. So I'm hoping that everything went out. My live went live right. I was using a software called StreamYard, and I decided that it wasn't working to be actually live in this group. And so I thought, instead of using StreamYard, I'm just going to go directly live here in the group and hope that it reaches more of you and it works the way it's supposed to. So I'm just hoping that you guys see this. It might be a little while for you to catch on, but I am live most Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern. I've had to pull my time back and adjust just a little bit. So anytime I want to go to my boys' practice, I can get there on time. There is a pinned post at the top of this group that has the schedule of when I'll be live here. So if you're wondering when I'm going to be live, when I'm not going to be live, what dictates all of that, again, it's posted right here at the top of the group. So today is September 13th. I'm live today. I'll be back here September 20th and September 27th as well. So for the rest of September, I'm here with you for Power Up with Power Coach Alishia. And then at the beginning of October, I'll be here again. And then we go into my Get Your Shift Together workshop. So be looking out for that. I'm really freaking excited. Hey, Maya. Hi, Latoya. I'm really excited. I have to tell you guys this stuff because I know you'll appreciate it. I gave my Get Your Shift Together workshop like a whole facelift. I'm reviewing all my past sessions and deciding what exact content I want to bring. Like, I'm so stoked. So that will open in the next few weeks, but I just wanted to let you know that Get Your Shift Together is coming back and it's going to be better than ever. So I know I just did one like a couple months ago, but this is like a remastered Get Your Shift Together workshop. Yay! Yes, all the fall stuff is here. I don't know why my phone is going off, but it is. So let me mute it for 1 hour. Okay. So that is my first like excitability. And then my second thing that I'm really excited for is I had this program that was originally called the Get Your Shift Together Power Camp or Boot Camp. I think when I first ran it, it was the Boot Camp. And I renamed it Shift Happens last year. And I'm really stoked because it's opening again in a little over a month. So there's like lots of exciting things coming. And the reason why I'm sharing it with you is because it's part of today's topic of slowing down when everything around you is like crazy busy. So my husband, by the way, sideline note, decided to switch my lights around. And now I have this big shadow on the side of my face. He didn't ask me if I wanted him to do that. He just decided to, and now it looks weird. So in order for there not to be a shadow, I need to be like this. And that's even more weird. So I need to get like a whole lighting something or other. You would think I would have a shit ton by now. But anyways, I digress from that. So if you want to just mark your calendars, again, it's most Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern that I'm here. There's a pin post at the top of the group that keeps that updated for you. I will be updating October in about a week. So next Monday-ish, I will update October, November, and December's live schedule. And I'll just pin that to the top so you guys know when I'm going to be here and you can prepare for that. So I was thinking about what do I want to talk about today? And this really stems from everything that I've got going on. And I thought, well, let me like give you some back history of what's been going on with me for the last couple of weeks. Cause I think it's been 2 weeks since we've been here, right? I don't remember when the last Power Up with Power Coach Alishia was. It was 2 weeks ago. So I have a lot going on. I signed up with a new coach and I am utilizing her training and her systems to fully like launch my life coaching business. Now, I have launched plenty of times. I have my Soul Circle that I just launched, and I have some members in that. I've launched plenty of my other programs before, but they were like Soul Circle this year wasn't, but all the other ones in the past was in the middle of all the direct sell stuff and everything that was going on there. And so this time when I launch, it's literally going to be straight up, like, I guess my coming out party. I don't know. Even though I'm out, it still feels like it's my coming out party. Oh, thank you, Latoya. And so just so everybody can see, she says she loves my nails. They're my fall. I can't bend my thumbs anymore, but my fall fabulous nails. So I'm getting ready to launch her way and like go through her process. And it's really interesting because the way she coaches is like literally about slowing down the process, but you still have amazing results. And so I think it's interesting that that's my topic today, just because I'm a go, 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 always busy, lots of things going on sort of person, and actually really have been. I think I could probably say that past tense, because now I'm realizing it's more important than ever in business to create space, but also in life. It doesn't even just have to be in business. It just, your life can be so crammed full of shit that you're not making space for everything, right? And that's kind of like where I am. So I've never really been like a go, 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 like, let's go to the mall, let's go out to eat, let's do this, let's do that, and like filling my days up with stuff. But when it comes to business, I've definitely been like that, like fill up, fill up, fill up, like all this stuff. Okay, you have this to do, you have that to do, you have this to do, you have that to do. And I've kind of trained myself out of that to where I'm not so much filling myself up with business stuff. But now it's almost like the flip side. I find myself being more overwhelmed in a way and more lazy about taking action. So now I've gone like the complete opposite direction. I used to grind until everything was done before. And now I'm looking at everything that needs to get done. And I'm like, holy fuck, I don't think I could do this. You know, I don't think I have the capacity to actually do all the things that I need to do to make this amazing for everyone involved, and to not just like whip it out there really fast and just whatever, you know, this is good enough. And I think good enough is important, but I am in this mode of like up leveling and making things that much better for you. And so that when you go through my life coaching programs, that it's really even more life-changing than they are. All by myself, I can change your life if it's just you and I, or me and a group of people, and you're in that group. I can do that, but I want to up-level everything and how it's brought. I have my Soul Circle membership community, and I have a specific way that I'm editing this whole thing so it's even more powerful for everyone who is in Soul Circle. And then the Get Your Shift Together workshop that I'm launching, I want to take the best days that I've ever done in the past, and I want those to be my 5 days of that workshop. I've decided it doesn't need to be 9 days. It needs to be 5 right now, powerful days. It might even be cut back to 4. I want them to be so powerful, so badass, so amazing that you walk away from there already stepped into that transformed you, like just that beginning of that transform you, and ready to make that decision on what you're doing next, whether that's to continue on to my Shift Happens program or whatever you're going to do. I want you to get to the end of that and just be ready, right? And not going, I don't know if I just want you to have full on fire. And I do feel like in the past, most people leave anything I do that with that fire, right? But when you get through this workshop that's coming up, you'll see what I mean. It'll be different than any of the other ones you've attended. So why am I sharing this? Because I didn't necessarily have a breakdown. I don't much cry anymore when I feel like it's too much or it's overwhelming. I used to a lot, but it doesn't affect me the same way. I don't know. It just doesn't get to the core of me like that anymore. But I'm sitting there and I'm hungry and I'm feeling like, oh my God, this is too much. Like I have so much to do to really make this awesome. I feel like I have too much on my plate. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I have to be at the store 2 days a week. I don't even know if my girl is coming back to work Fridays and Saturdays. Like so much, right? So let me go ahead and put a push pin in that and rewind back to a week ago. I think it was Wednesday of last week. So because of my girl Maya, I have decided to start doing a morning card pull it's an angel card or an oracle card. Now, I don't always ask a question. Sometimes I just ask my angels to tell me what they want me to know. And last Wednesday, I needed an answer to a specific question. And this is where when people say, oh, I'm not really into that, or I don't really believe in that, this is where it becomes pretty freaking cool. So I do this card pull and I use the crystals deck that I have. If you're just joining me, please say hi to me in the comments. I love talking to you. Please hang out and interact with me. I'm reading everything you guys are writing. If you're on replay, drop hashtag replay. I love it. So I pull this card and it's on the crystal deck. And it's funny because when I got this crystal deck, I thought, it's okay, but they're not as pretty and beautiful as all the other cards. I feel way more connected to the other decks and da-da-da-da. But I decided that morning that I was going to pull a card from the crystal deck, and it was Mukite Jasper. Mukite Jasper? Whatever. Something. Hi, Angie. And I was like, oh, I don't know this crystal. I don't know anything about it. Hi, Anika. Hello, everybody. Yay. I don't know anything about Mukite Jasper. Mukite? Yeah, I'm going to go with that. And so I'm looking through the book, and my question was, do I close my store now, or do I close my store at the end of the year? Because I have a lot on my plate. And if I really want to build my life coaching empire, hi, Tricia, the way that my heart desires, something has to give. I just can't keep going the way that I'm going. I knew that something had to give. I haven't been doing my morning time, my exercising, my journaling, my meditation, just the things that I truly need to feel like me and also be grounded. I hadn't been doing any of those things because it was like I'd get up in the morning and I just want to play video games, which is weird for me. It was never one of my morning habits. I never used to get up and play video games and then go to work, ever. I would play video games after work, but never before work. And so I created this new weird habit. And so I wasn't getting my time in before going to the store. I didn't have any time to do any of the back end stuff, which I still don't. I feel like I don't have enough time to get everything done and to really do it in a way that I feel I want it done this time, at the levels that I want it done this time, and the way that I want to show up, and the way that I want it to be. And so I pull this card and that's what shows up. And that was my question. Do I close at the end of September or at the end of the year? And it literally, I also made the decision that if the card was wishy-washy, that I wasn't going to close my store until the end of the year. But if the card was 100% clear, I was going to trust it and do exactly what it told me to do. And it was like, now is your time. It's time for new beginnings. It's time for you to follow your dreams and step out into what you've always wanted to do. It's going to be so amazing. I mean, it was literally that. I mean, the answer was like that. It wasn't like, now is not the time, you should wait, or, well, it could be good or it could not be. And sometimes when you pull cards, it is that way. Like, it could go either way. This card was so clear. And as soon as I got done reading it, I knew that I needed to close the store at the end of September. And so that creates a whole other slew of things, right? And a whole other slew of emotions. If you've been following me and listening to my story and even opening the store, I invested over $11,000 to open it. I definitely haven't made that money back because I've continued to reinvest what I sold in order to continue building up the store, right? So I hadn't paid myself back yet. Why am I sharing all of this with you? Because I should say I currently have felt like everything is full steam ahead, right? Life is moving at a pace like this, but I was feeling like, and kind of, I want to do past and present tense at the same time. I've been feeling like I'm being rushed through everything. Like, I got to be here. I got to do this. I got to show up here. Okay. When I leave there, I'm going here. When I get done there, then I need to do this. Okay. If it's Monday, I'm doing these things. That may be eyelashes in the morning, but then you need to come home because after you get done with eyelashes, you have all this back end work to do. And then Strat needs to be to practice by 6. And then, you've got to now go live at 5 because you changed the time so that you could be to his practice if you wanted to go to his practice instead of being at right when his practice started. Okay. Then Tuesdays, you have massages on most Tuesdays and you can't skip those because you know what happened to your body when you didn't do those. So you got to make sure you do those massages. Well, that's 2 hours out of your day. And then you've got to drive back and forth. So by the time you're all done, it's 3 hours. And then you still got to come home and continue on back end work and get in the zone of continuing to redesign and build all of this stuff. And then it's Wednesday. Okay. On Wednesdays, you spend 6 hours at the store and then you get off. And it's just like, I feel like I'm being rushed through my days and my life and what I want to do. I want to be able to move at a good pace, but I want that pace to be my choice. And that is what led me to pull that card by asking that question, right? I wanted to be very specific and ask that question and just be told what I need to do. And then, I pulled a couple of other cards, but today I pulled exploration. And exploration was all about, exploring new things, new ways of doing things, and enjoying that journey, taking new vacations, going to new places. And it was so cool, like how I'm being led. But here's the thing. Feeling like you're being rushed through life causes you to not enjoy that journey at all. It just feels like you don't have any time to enjoy that journey because it's on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. If you can relate to this, drop a heart in the comments or say yes in the comments, just so I know that this is connecting with you. And so we have to take a second and say, okay, I need to find space to slow down in the middle of the hustle and bustle, so to speak. And this live is going to be relevant for the entire third quarter. So hear me now. I'm probably ahead of time on giving you this content and this thought process, but the fact that I'm being called to bring it to you now is going to help you as things around you start speeding up over the next 90 days. And it speeds up whether you like it or not, right? So you have to make space in the speed and everything that's going on. And how you do that is by taking things off your plate. And sometimes those things that you're taking off your plate are hard decisions to make. I obviously didn't open a store in April. Oh my gosh, a brick and mortar store in April to close it in September. That's idiotic. Who gives a store that little bit of time to get off and running, right? Nobody does. Like, not if you really want to be successful. But there's nothing else for me to take off my plate. I knew that when the time came for me to move full steam ahead in life coaching, that I was going to have to make some hard decisions. I just didn't realize it was going to be so tight to me opening the store. And the truth is, I thought that I would be able to do it all. But then I realized that to show up the way that I want to show up in the energy and delivery and all of those things in my own power, in order to do that, I needed more space. Because what happens is I just feel like I'm being pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed throughout the day. Like it's almost like somebody is standing behind me and just gently pushing. So, like you're almost like trotting. Does that make sense? Like trotting ahead, but you're almost resisting it because you don't want to be trotting. You want to be like walking and chilling and like smelling the flowers and noticing that the leaves are changing. But there's just this hand on the small of your back just pushing you a little bit faster. So your legs are moving faster than you want them to. You're missing things because you're like, what the fuck is going on? That's kind of the analogy that I use. And so I talk about this a lot, and I wish I could remember all three. There is I'm going to have to look it up because I always edit it to make it my own. But there is your ability, there is the capacity, and your willingness. So anytime you're making decisions, you're weighing it against those three things, right? Like, am I able to do this? Like, do I have the knowledge to take this action? Or am I going to have to go seek out that knowledge and train and learn before I can take this action? And it's like, do I want to do it? The willingness. Is this something that I really want to do? Or do I feel like I have to? Am I forcing myself to do it? Is it out of obligation, right? And then it's like the capacity. And this is the one I think is missed a lot. So I got the ability. I've got this, right? I do want to do it. I feel excited about it. The capacity is what's usually skipped. The excitement is where it stops. And then when you get to the capacity, that is, do I have fucking space in my life? Does this fit? Does this work? Can I make it work? And if you don't, you have to say no. You have to be able to say yes to all three of those things. The ability the willingness, and the capacity. And even if you don't have the ability, you can go out and train, but do you have the capacity to train in order to learn it, to do it, even though you're excited about doing it? If you don't have the capacity to go learn in order to do it, then you have to say no. Like, it has to be yeses. And like, that bonus question is, do I have the capacity to train on what I need to train on if it's like something I don't know? Like if I need to learn that ability. We don't do that. We just jump in, we say yes, and then all of a sudden it's like, I can't do this. It's kind of like what I did with the store. I knew that life coaching would come up and that I wouldn't have the capacity to do it all at that time. I didn't know when I would be ready, but I took action because at those moments, that's what I felt like I needed. At the moment, I felt like I had the ability, I had the willingness, and I did have the capacity. I just didn't realize that that capacity would be cut short. Now, in all honesty, could I run that store and build a very successful life coaching empire? Yes. At an expense. I truly believe that that expense would be my mental health, like meaning I wouldn't be able to journal hardly at all. There wouldn't be enough space for meditation unless I got up earlier or I was willing to be pushed through my day. Because if I controlled my schedule tightly, like alarm goes off at 8, feet hit the floor, right? Start taking action forward. I think I could do it all, but I would be working until 8 or 9 on store day. Like when I hear this, it all drives me fucking batshit. Like I don't love the way that it feels. So my coach, in one of her sessions that she did, it was about a week ago. I don't even know what it was. But she asked us to decide what we want our life to be like. And what do you want your life to be like day in and day out? And this is another thing that I feel like we skip over. I've done that before, right? I used to design everything. I wasn't doing shit unless it fit into this structure. And the structure was I worked Monday through Thursday. I worked, it depended, but 10 to 4, because I started work at 10. I would take a week off every month. I went on love getaways every other month, vacations, usually on the months in between that. I was getting massages every single week, facials once a month. Like I was religious about all of the things that I did. In the mornings, I was doing my daily power up and taking that time for myself. And I ran my life like that for a very long time. Now, it shifted when I started LuLaRoe because I never looked at my life and how it was set up and said, okay, do I have the capacity to run this business? I thought I did because I had help from Daniel, I had help from my mom, and I had a partner when I first started. I thought I had plenty of capacity. I thought it would fit in great, but the challenge was it didn't fit in because it took way more time than I thought it would because the business was way more successful than I thought it would be. So when you're running, well, we launched at $30,000 our first month. That's how much we sold in LuLaRoe personal sales. And we got to $40,000 within 30 days, $40,000. The capacity needed to run a $40,000 a month physical product business with inventory, managing that inventory, shipping it, selling it, the processes we had in place is fucking crazy. All right. I worked LuLaRoe 8-9 hours a day, like a full-time job. That's not what I wanted. That's not why I started my own business back in 2007. That's not why I designed my life the way that I did starting in 2014 or 12 or 13. I don't know what fucking year it was. No, it would have been 14. That's not why I designed my life that way. But I never asked myself when I was making the commitment to LuLaRoe or anything else that I've made extra commitments to about the capacity to do that while still honoring what my soul needs. That's the whole key to what we're talking about right now. And I am going to get to your comments, I promise you, but I'm on a really good track and I just want to make sure that this gets out like so powerfully. I never asked myself. So then last week I was reminded, like a nudge from my angels, like last week was literally just so much divine fab saucery with me pulling that card that was a clear answer to my coach saying, what is it that you want your life to look like? And then, what kind of money do you need to do that? And just having that conversation and then like running it all out and then laying it all out. And like, I want to take a week off just like I used to. I only want to work Monday through Thursday just like I used to. I ran a $500,000 a year business, almost $600,000 a year business, working 4 days a week. Now, I worked my ass off on those 4 days. They weren't a light 4 days. I was doing 7 lives a week and recording podcasts, but that's edited out. I don't want to do that again. I don't want to do 7 fucking lives a week so people pay attention and, want to buy my shit. There's got to be a different way that I can show up that honors me and honors you, but I still get a better result in the end, right? There has to be. There's plenty of people doing that. So there has to be a way that I can do that, right? Now, though, I'm looking at it from that like view. And then I get to today and I realize, holy fuck, in order to do what I want to do, when I launch this Get Your Shift Together workshop in October, there's so much that needs to be done. There's so much that needs to be done. I'm like, this is way too much. I don't want to do all this. I can't do all of this. It's overwhelming. I don't want to do this again. And then my mind goes back to when I built my direct sales coaching company. I grinded like a motherfucker. I worked 12, 14, 16 hours a day. I sat for longer hours than no human should in that time. I like literally destroyed my body. I only ate because Daniel brought me food. It was like just grinding to build that business. And my life coaching empire is pretty much the same business model. But I have to get there a different way. So when I saw all the work that had to be done today, I literally went into that like anchored right back to that time of just, I'm working till 9 or 10 every night. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like for the month of September, I can't see how I won't be working late every single day. But I did tell myself, now that you're clear, you can do this through the end of September. That's why I asked the angels that and got my answer, because I was like, if they said it to the end of the year, then I would have had to readjust what I was doing on this end. And it would just have to have been good enough instead of at the levels like peak personal power. That's how I want to deliver. When you see Get Your Shift Together again and you go through Get Your Shift Together again, you'll know exactly what I mean. My level of showing up, the delivery, what you get, how it works, the access, the VIP upgrade, the connection to me, the giveaways, you'll see the difference and you'll know exactly what I mean. Because those of you guys that have been through Get Your Shift Together, which is my free workshop, it's amazing. But it was all done most every time at this level. And anytime I deliver it from this moment forward, I want it delivered here. There's no reason it shouldn't be, right? So I thought today, what the hell are you going to talk about when you go live? You have no topic. There's nothing. Like, I'm looking at stuff. I'm doing my best to get my thoughts jarred into some badass topic for you and to bring it up and deliver it and share it with you and everything. And I just couldn't think of anything. And I sat down here at my desk and popped into my head was slowing down even with all the busyness. So although I'm still hella fucking busy and I got a lot going on and a lot that I've got to get done in order to show up in this amazing way. And I'm so excited for it. I'm going to do my best, and I have everything organized in the order of its importance. What's most important to get done first? Okay, so if those two things don't get done, then they won't be on the back end as an offer. It's okay. But next time they can be on the back end as an offer. You'll add them later. Just get the first part done. Going through that process. Okay, so then what would be next? Then what would be next? And what would be next? And what would be next? And going through that and asking myself, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? And so I'm just going through it in order of what needs to be done and being okay with the things that I may not get to this time, but still able to show up at this level the way I truly want to. I hope this makes so much sense. Okay. So Anika says, I really need to hear this tonight. I'm going to have to listen again to it. Yes, please do. Tricia says, this is why I've just been taking time and not filling up my days, because I feel like life has been passing me by for almost a year, or been passing me by, for almost a year. I think that's what you meant to write. That's interesting. So I want to touch on that because somewhere along the way, something I read, something I heard, some fucking podcast, I don't know. But what it said was, when you're in the motion of taking consistent action, then you just do it, right? You just do what it takes to continue to take that action. But when you stop taking the action and you are more lazy and there's too much space, too much inaction, then it's so much harder to get started again. And I'm noticing that within myself. I'm a very self-driven person. I'm a balls to the wall, rock it out, get it done. It's going to be fucking amazing. We're going to do this shit and we're going to do it in 5 minutes. That's my personality as far as action, right? And I've been noticing over probably the last year, maybe 2 years, that hard-hitting, take action, balls to the wall, make it happen sort of person is not quite here. And that annoys me because that is a quality that I absolutely love about myself, is being able to set my mind to something and depending on myself to make that happen. And so when I heard, okay, when you're consistently doing that, that's part of your routine and what you're doing all the time, then your mind and your body and everything just kicks in. Is like, okay, let's go. But when you stop doing that and you create that space and you make more room for laziness, because that's what happens. It goes from just taking a break or creating space to being lazy. Then to get back going and really pushing yourself that full steam ahead is so hard to get it turning again. And I definitely want to go full steam ahead. I get that. I am connected to that. It's just how I go full steam ahead. I'm no longer willing to work from 11 a.m. to 11 o'clock at night as a full steam ahead. My full steam ahead doesn't look like that anymore. It looks more like noon to 6 full steam ahead, like consistent action, staying focused, getting shit done, right? So that doesn't mean that I'm not full steam ahead because I'm not doing 12 hours. It just means that it just is adjusted differently. I'm not willing to kill myself to get there, right? And sometimes I think that you have to take that step back and that break, if you will, to get clear on stuff like this. Because the bad side of it is when you're constantly running and pushing yourself and go, get this done, go here, do that, you don't even have time to think about what's best for you. So what happens is you're destroying your mind, body, and soul in that journey. So I knew that and I didn't want to get back to that. I wanted to move full steam ahead, but I just couldn't really connect to how. All right, let me read this next part. Yeah. Used what pattern? I don't think if I've ever used the pattern. I haven't ever used the pattern, but I'm just making sure that that's the word you're trying to put there. I don't even know what that is. But yes, that's what you said. Everything I just said for the last 30 minutes, you summed up in a sentence. You need to decide whether or not what you're doing, or whether or not you're doing something because it actually adds a value to your life and it's your purpose, or if you're just doing it to go through the motions. Like, that's exactly it, right? Is this value, or are you just going through the motions trying to get it all done? Like, again, I love my store. I want my store so much. It's everything. However, I don't have space for it. And if I didn't know that life coaching was everything and my soul fire, then I would be all in with the store. I actually found an awesome coach who could help me and teach me everything I needed to know to really get my store to the levels I wanted it to, in person and online. However, I don't have the capacity to center myself, right? My energy levels, my personal connection, my relationship with my children, my husband, my friends. I don't have the capacity to do that and run a full-scale store boutique and a full-scale life coaching empire. I don't have the capacity to do all that. Something has to give. And I refuse to let the relationship with myself give because it already has. And I'm not going to let the relationship with my husband give because we've already been down that road. My kids are 15 and 12. So to me, they're getting so much older. And so that time that you get with them becomes less and less because they want to go hang out with their friends. And, you know, their thoughts and what they want to do is changing in their life and their focus. And so there was only one place it could give, and that was in the spot that wasn't fully my dream, right? But I want to talk about that before we wrap up here. And the one thing about my store is that it's 100% me manifested in a store. It's really a cute little boutique, right? It's me. It's everything that I love, from candles to bath bombs to crystal candles and crystals and Palo Santo and sage and little smudge kits and sprays that are like for energy and protection. And what is that spray? Rose ivy rose. I don't know. Rose spray. Have you ever used rose spray? It's really hydrating and amazing. To like sprays, and did I say angel cards and funny saying shirts and cute clothes? Like, my store is so me. And so one of the things that I had to remind myself of, and I want you to remind yourself of something like this as well when you are making a decision. Okay, I'm going to look it up. Pattern. I'm going to write it down right now. Is that closing the brick and mortar store doesn't change how connected that store is to me. So it's so crazy, but if you're paying attention and you're making decisions that are in sync with what your soul needs and your next steps, the way things unfold is literally unbelievable. So I was looking at that and I'm like, at least 50% of my store, maybe a tinge more, connects perfectly with my life coaching. The problem is having a brick and mortar store doesn't connect perfectly with life coaching. And so there's so much coming up in my revamped, revived, pure amazingness Shift Happens program, where we are going to be covering chakras meets crystals meets angel cards, which I've always done. Right now, because of course it was part of the synchronistic events that I signed up for it, and it's pure perfection. The root chakra, if it's out of balance, literally affects everything in the lower half of your body. So back aches, sciatica, I guess that is your back. If you have plantar fasciitis, foot issues, swelling like edema, but that's like hands, right? And feet. If you have anything going on, I'm not a doctor, I don't know what the fuck the terms are, in your lower body, numbness, all of that is based on your root chakra. And to fix it, there are so many things that you can do to realign that. But first of all, you have to know that that's what's out of whack, right? It's like, I'm so excited to bring that to the training that I do in Shift Happens. I already have my curriculum that I'm going to be editing out just a little bit, but everything that I swear to you that has happened in the last 2 weeks have been synchronistic. Bam, bam, bam. This leads to that, leads to that, leads to that. All the way down to the app I now use for meditation and hypnotherapy and life coaching and sleep stories. like I've changed my app, which we'll talk about more. I don't want to talk about more today because I have just barely been using it, and I really want to have full on information and structure and everything. So that is going to be introduced into Shift Happens as well, to talk about how to incorporate that into everything that we're doing. But everything, I'm telling you, like when you slow down and ask, everything starts to line up for you. So if you can connect with what I was saying at the beginning, that being like shoved through the day, and you don't want to be shoved, and you feel like you just can't gain your footing and you just don't have time. It's almost like you're getting tired, and that's when you would stop or you would slow down. But there's just that little pressure on the back that's stopping that from happening. It is imperative that you make yourself slow down. The best way to do that is through meditation and journaling, going within, having a conversation with yourself, creating space in your head, and removing one of the biggest things on your plate that is taking up the most time and stopping you from having the space to be where you want to be, to do what you want to do, to show up the way that you want to show up. And that decision doesn't mean it's going to be an easy one. That thing that you may remove, it's not to say it's like, meh, it doesn't matter. I really described closing my store at the end of this month like that boy that you know you love, and he's a great guy. He hasn't done anything wrong. You could spend the rest of your life with him and you know you would be happy. But you also know that if you make that decision, you're going to be missing something greater, better, and more fulfilling. And so for that reason, you do love him, but you're not in love with him. So you break up with him, and it's you, not him, right? Like it's the perfect example. Or that friend that you're like really close to and you love them to death, but it just doesn't work. It's not working. The relationship is not working. The energy isn't working. And it's time for you to let go and move on. It's the same thing. It's not going to necessarily be something easy. And generally, when you're making these big shifts and creating this big space, it's hard as fuck. And it is for me. I open my store and I think, oh, I love this place, and it has so much inventory in it, and it's perfect and it's cute and the energy is unbelievable. And then the universe tests me. I have to tell you this. I tell everybody, I'm closing my store. I'm closing my store. I'm closing my store. I'm going to go back online and incorporate it into my life coaching. And I say, they're like, why? I'm like, one of the things you guys don't know, this is what I say to people in my like real life that met me over the last few months, is that I'm one phenomenal life coach. I am the life coach that can take the woman who has been stuck in bed, depressed, and get her out of bed, showering every day, fighting for herself, removing toxic people from her life, asking for more, creating boundaries, all of that in less than 90 days, where the people in her life couldn't get her to barely eat before me. I am the person who the woman is about to kill herself, and this is her last straw. Like in her mind, she doesn't even know why she's here on a live with me like this, right? Talking to me. And I pull her back off that ledge, and she goes on to change her life and do unbelievable things. I said to them, me being here is wasting that. There are women out there who need me, and they're not getting me because I'm here. This isn't what I was born for. This isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. It was great for the time, and I loved every minute of it, but I can feel the energy and the souls of people calling me who need me, right? So I do this whole spiel to the people in the building because we have this strip mall thing. We're all like inside of a building with separate stores. So I say that, and this is the universe testing me. A girl comes in and she's looking at crystals, Do you have any magenta? And I'm like, no. Magenta is not a real crystal, And I tell her all this stuff, right? But I do have this, I do have that, She's like, oh yeah, I really want that. Let me call my mom. So long story longer, she's like, her energy is like pulling me. And I don't life coach people when they come into my store, like ever. I've been open since April 3rd and I've only life coached 3 people. And I've had a lot of people come through. Like, I do my best to shut my mouth and not say anything. And because it kind of freaks people out when I don't know them. And then once I start, I'm like right on, like right down the list, you know? And her soul's like calling. And I just go into this whole spiel and I just give her power and I tell her that she's amazing and that she's got to fight for herself. And I told her, I think I have another one of my books at home. I've sold out here in the store, but I know that there's one at home for you and I'll bring it for you tomorrow. Or if my husband's the one working, I'll have him bring it. I go through all of this and I literally saved her life in, I don't know, 15 minutes. And I just could only laugh because I just got done saying, I got to get the fuck out of here. Like, I can't do what I'm supposed to do when I'm stuck up here. You know, the universe is like, here's a person for you, you know? Do you really want to do this? Are you sure you're going to step away from this store? Do you really, or do you want to incorporate? It was like almost testing me on the action to take. And long story longer, like she's been back to the store twice. This was Thursday of last week. She came back, she got her book. She told my husband on Friday when she came that she was crying all Thursday. Like, I changed her life. It was like, you know, not very long. I swear, like 15 minutes. But it made such a huge difference and impact. So for me, that was just reinforcement of exactly what I had told everybody. Like, I have got to be where it is that I need to be. And the same thing goes for you. When your time is being given to something that isn't the place that you're supposed to be in, where you are supposed to be, those people are missing out on that. Right? You are missing out on that. Your soul continues to call for that. And you might be sitting there thinking, I don't even know what that is. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. It's always been there. It's always called you. It's what you default back to. It's, hi, Cindy, the thing you love to do. It's the thing you're connected to. It's the thing that lights you up, the thing that you feel like gives you just a little oomph in your soul, right? And if you don't know what it is, just hang out with me. And then all of a sudden one day it'll be like, oh my God, that's what it is. Like, I knew this the whole time. I can't believe I forgot. You know, I was talking to Angie in one of our last Soul Circle sessions, and I told her, like, you are amazing. Your fiery, badass self that lives within you, she's right there. You just got to let her come out. You got to let her show up. You got to let her be who she is. And it's been crazy because it's like a week after that session, like, she was a completely different lit up person. And I'm really excited to see her tomorrow because sometimes it's just that permission for you to be who you truly are. And she may not know or didn't know at those moments what I just said about that thing you're always called to and da-da-da-da-da. But when you just stop stifling yourself and shutting it down and pushing it back and putting it away, like, no. And you just let it come out and you let it flow and you let yourself be free. What ends up happening is you'll actually see what it is I'm talking about. What it is I'm talking about will show the fuck up and you'll be like, oh my God, yes, that's what she was talking about. I want to do that. That's where I want to live. That's what I want to be. That's what I want my livelihood to be. That's who I want to work for. That's how I want to show up. That's the wife that I truly want to be, or, you know, who I really am. Like, this bitch who cooks and cleans all the time, it ain't me. Sorry, husband, I'm not doing it anymore. Or I really want to be the wife who cooks and cleans and takes care of the house and like really gives back and nurtures, but I'm always too busy and I always have so much. Okay, then you've got to let go of that in order to do that. I don't know what it is for you. It could be a career. It could be a hobby. It could be how you show up as a friend, as a wife, as a mother. I don't know what it is, but I can tell you that when you feel pushed through life, everybody is missing out on the beautiful you. So today, I'm asking you to take a step back, slow down a little bit, and ask yourself, do I have the ability, the willingness, and the capacity to do this? If you have yeses in all 3 areas, then move forward. And whatever you have when you're weighing things against those 3 questions, if there's a no, then that needs to come off. Next thing, if there's a no, then it needs to come off. You have to have yeses in all 3. So you ask yourself that to everything you're doing. You might have the most demanding full-time job and it's like killing your soul. So you might not have the capacity for it anymore. Maybe you make $150,000 a year. Like, oh yeah, Alicia, but I could never leave that. Yes, you could. Yes, you could. You could let it go and build a different life for you, right? Maybe making more money. Ever thought of that? So I hope I've given you some power today. And I want to encourage you to go to my link. It's in the description of this video. And it's also pinned. You can book a free breakthrough session with me if you need some help just breaking through where you are, getting clear on, your next steps, those sorts of things. Make sure you're listening to the podcast. A new episode comes out every Thursday at 9 a.m. Then there's my free life coaching community, which is here. So if you're watching this on YouTube or my personal profile or Power Up with Power Coach Alishia, make sure you go to the link in the description and join the Power Up Your Life coaching community. Like, there's so much. And then definitely get on the wait list for the next Get Your Shift Together workshop, which is happening in October. And if you want to check out any of the products that I have, that is the bottom link on the link tree. So when you click that one link, you have everything else there, everything that I just talked about. So I don't have to put a million freaking links in the description. That makes sense, Trisha. Now I've rebranded with words and make my brand me, which has helped me see this better. I love this. Sometimes that's another thing, right? Just taking action all the time that's just going through the motions, you're missing something, right? And you got to figure out, what is that thing that really connects me? And sometimes the rebrand is that. So I love that you shared that. For me, I'm so excited for my rebrand of Get Your Shift Together and Shift Happens, because they look cohesive, but the way I've branded them is like light and power. Like, I get it. And it lights you up and you're like, yes, let's do this. You just feel so much more excited about taking that action. So I absolutely love that. All right. So I will be back here next week, 7 p.m. Eastern. So same time, same place, right here in the Power Up Your Life Facebook group. Make sure you turn on your notifications so that you get notified when I go live. Or if you don't want to turn on your notifications for the group, because I do post every day, twice a day here in the group, you can always send the word power up to the number 74121, and you will get a text on when I go live. So there's a couple options for you. And then that way you don't miss any of my lives whenever they are. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I will see you guys next week. Bye.